MJF was announced as having a role on the upcoming Von Erich movie featuring Zach Efron. He's going to be playing Lance Von Erich, who was the fake Von Erich, the gimmicked Von Erich, if you will. MJ, like, this is why this is a big deal, okay? And this is why I wanted to talk about this, because the Von Erich movie is going to come and it's going to go, and it's not going to be anything special because at the end of the day, nobody gives a fuck about the Von Erichs anyway. Who's going to buy? Who's going to pay? You know, us wrestling marks will check it out because it'll be interesting, and because MJF's in it, especially now, that's going to help. But you know, like there's a Hulk Hogan movie coming up with fucking what's his name? Thor, fucking Hemsworth, Chris Hemsworth. I know his name. I didn't forget his name. It's just when you're recording and you're on the spot, you brain fart. Plus, I smoke a lot of pot, and that doesn't help either, kids. You kids. Um, but there's bigger wrestlers. There's a McMahon biopic. There's bigger wrestling movies. Nobody gives in the big scheme of things. Nobody gives a fuck about the Von Erichs, right? Unless you're from Texas. It was funny. I worked with somebody. Just a quick sidebar here. I worked with somebody once in like a call center, and she was an older lady, and she was from Texas, and she found out I was a wrestling fan, and she was like, "Oh, I used to go see the in the Sportatorium." You know, she talked about she went to the Dallas Sportatorium. She used to talk about going to see the shows, and she was like, "Oh, that Michael Hayes." She was fucking in love. Like she was just gushing. His long blonde hair. I used to love me that Michael Hayes. Like, I love that story because you hear, like, I'm not from Texas and I wasn't around as a wrestling fan back then. So like you hear stuff on the DVDs and that kind of thing, but to actually talk to somebody where I'm from, you know, up in the Midwest, from somebody that was lived in Texas and went to the Sportatorium and was in love with fucking Michael Hayes, just wow, love that story. But yeah, other than that lady, nobody's gonna give a fuck about this movie. But and Zach Efron, he's a great actor, by the way. He's going to do really well as Kerry Von Erich. And it'll be interesting to see, like, you know, do people play Vince? I get a kick out of that. You know, who's going to be playing these real life people? You know, I know Cornette was just talking about that, how it's hard because all of these people were like characters and they were cartoons come to life. You know, they were real life superheroes and villains that they were. It's hard to cast people like that, like with Young Rock and stuff like that. It's interesting to see them do it, how they pull it off, you know, because it's hard to cast some of these people because they're so. And I think Young Rock actually does a decent job with their casting. I really do. But besides that, MJF being in this movie is the reason I really wanted to talk about this is that this is just a stepping stool for MJF. Think about this. We all know MJF's destined for greatness, and he's already said that he wants to go, that Hollywood's going to be his next thing. He's already told us he wants to be an actor. When The Rock, think back, how did The Rock start to break into movies, right? Rock's the biggest he's the biggest actor, period. He's like the highest paid, I believe. He's a megastar, right? In Hollywood. And how did he get his start? What was his first appearance? Wasn't it on fucking That 70s Show, playing like his dad or something? No, yeah, didn't he play his dad, or who he played somebody in that fucking. Yeah, he did play his dad. He played Rocky. It doesn't fucking matter anyway who he played. He was on That 70s Show and he played a wrestler. And I kind of equate this MJF. This is his first role, but he's dipping his toe into this. And you know what's going to be the next thing? He's going to get a small part in an action movie somewhere, like fucking like Rock did, and then just because wrestlers, everybody in Hollywood loves working with wrestlers. They're starting to learn that. Look at James Gunn, who just took over DC completely. DC was now broken off as its own separate entity, which is also actually a sign that it's probably going to get sold at some point. But Warner Brothers Discovery, AEW's buddies there over there, just broke DC Comics off, DC Studios off as its own thing, kind of like Disney did with Marvel and Star Wars. You know, they're not under Disney, they're under Star Wars, which is just owned by Disney, Lucasfilms, you know what I mean? So he just took over James Gunn just took over DC, and he was the guy that did the Suicide Squad movie with John Cena. And then he said outright that he loved working with John Cena specifically so much that he wanted to do a whole separate TV show. And what opened his mind up to working with John Cena? Because Batista was so easy to work with when he did the Guardians of the Galaxy movie with him. So he knows that wrestlers are fun and easy to work with, because they are, because they're on point. It was like we were talking earlier, if you're listening to the full show, but otherwise in a separate clip, I talked about Saraya, and it's like wrestlers should have the ability to be able to think on the fly, to be creative, and Rock's smart. He takes direction well. You know what I mean? MJF, same thing, you know, like has those same characteristics. Cena had those same characteristics. Batista has those same characteristics. People, all of that to say, people in big names in Hollywood, because James Gunn is a fucking studio head now. And if you think he's not going to be open to working with more wrestlers, he created the Peacemaker show just to work with John Cena more. He created it to work with John Cena more. Okay, that wasn't like a big plan. Anybody's like, oh yeah, we got to bring this obscure Peacemaker guy. No, it was simply like, I had a lot of fun working with John Cena. I want to make a whole TV show for him. And now he's the head of that studio under Warner Brothers Discovery, one of the biggest fucking movie studios in the whole fucking world, right? So big things are on the rise for professional wrestlers getting into acting. And The Rock got his start basically doing the exact same thing, playing a wrestler on a TV show. This would be a movie, but MJF, man, dipping his toe in. You know, next thing, maybe he pops up on Heels season 3, or he pops up on he gets a role in an action movie. Or like, once he's in, and if word starts getting around, he's easy to work with, and he impresses people, and he's actually good at it, which he will be because he's MJF. This man is going to be a megastar, and he's so young, just like The Rock was. MJF's going to be done and out of the wrestling world and Hall of Fame level career, like done it all like The Rock did, by the time he's less than 40, you know what I mean? Under 40. And then he's going to be able to just, by then he'll have a couple movies under his belt. He'll be able to go to Hollywood and just fucking megastar. MJF is going places, and we're seeing the very, very roots of it right here in this fucking Zach Efron, Zach Von Erich gimmick. Like how I did that? The Zach Efron, Von Erich. Can't even talk.
Oh yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Yeah, and you can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on the channel. Oh yeah, dig it.